Hello everyone, it's been a little bit since I've actually uploaded a video. Half of that is because I've been struggling with mental health issues, and the other part is, well, you know, the hatch. And I want to give my opinions on the hatch. I know quite a lot of people already have, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents worth in. So, yeah. Overall, the concept, in my opinion, wasn't that bad. I personally don't really mind the concept of having to go into multiple games to find the eggs. I know a lot of people don't like that concept. I do, however, I don't think it was done right. Examples of situations where I think it was done right, at least in my opinion, would be like, say, the games from, I think it was last year they had the games. I thought the games were pretty good because, you know, you would go to the hub, you'd join a game, and there would be instructions on how to find the things you need to find. However, here, everything felt really, really rushed. And half the time, I didn't know what I was doing. I think majority of the eggs I collected, I had to watch Connor3D's tutorials for, because barely any of the games, at least out of the ones I actually played, had any sort of explanation on what to do. So yeah, my first critique is definitely the fact that the instructions were not clear. Sure, in the hubby that the hubby, in the main hub game, there were, you know, the quests that had brief instructions. There was overall just a brief explanation that everyone was kind of given, but that was just for the event as a whole. Most of the games did not tell you what to do at all. There were a few games I joined that had in, like, say, the right, I think it was the bottom right corner, there would be like a little thing that says, "Are you hunting for eggs? Do XYZ thing to find the eggs." And, you know, there were like a few games that I think also had little signs that would be like, if you're, it'd just be like a sign that had the hatch thumbnail with the hatch written in big letters, or there would be like an egg symbol with arrows pointing, directing you where to go. Those were also pretty helpful, but a good majority of the games I would just join and I'd be like, what the hell am I supposed to do? How am I meant to find an egg here? And I would just have to Google a tutorial. Like I said, majority of the eggs I got simply from looking at YouTube tutorials because it was just not clear in the slightest. Okay, and now to my next point, which I think people have spoken about this a bit already, is the selection of games was so weird. Like, they would be these really good games, and then there would be these Gen Alpha brain rot games. And okay, don't get me wrong, I do like it. I do like to see, you know, smaller game developers getting their games included, but it's just like, some of them really felt like there was just no passion behind them, you know? Like, they were just made very horribly. Like, they were just copies and pastes of each other, and they just weren't that fun to play. And it's just like, what the heck am I playing? And I'm not necessarily talking about games like Steel or Brain Rot and things like that. I'm more talking about ones that were just, I don't know, there was one that was like Call of Brain Rot at 3 a.m. and things like that, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, if you like those games, I'm not going to judge you, but for me personally, it's just like, why? Just what's the point? I don't get it. And then, of course, don't get me started on the borderline condo games, which, by the way, I have a big vendetta against condo games because I love playing games where they're like vibe type games, where you're in like a house or a room and you can just hang around and chill with cool lighting and stuff. But then you have these goddamn games like a certain Teddy made that give all of those vibe type games a bad reputation. And I still don't understand why Roblox thought that it just, like, what made them think having Teddy in the game was a good idea? Seriously. Like, I know they did ban him eventually, but why did it take them like 2 weeks? What was it, like 2-3 weeks? Like, all it takes is to look at the thumbnails of his game, to understand what type of games they are. Like, I'll try and show a few thumbnails of not his game, but similar-ish games. So just imagine these thumbnails on the screen right now, but worse. Like, there was no mistaking what Teddy's intentions were with this game. Like, Roblox said the reason they didn't ban him straight away was because they wanted to investigate, because they have a rule where if the developer themselves hasn't done anything wrong, but like the players are the ones misusing the game, then it's not really deemed as the developer's fault. Like, I think they said something about if that's what's happening, they'll work with the developer to try and find ways to make the game safer. But like, again, usually just by joining a game, you can tell what the intentions are. Like, you know, you might have a game that's got fairly open spaces and it's overall just a hangout spot, but then you've got games where there are locked bedrooms and all that stuff, and you can tell exactly what they're made for. You can tell exactly what they're made for. Come on, Roblox. I'm barely an adult, and even I can tell that. Honestly, overall, I didn't really feel with this game that there was any, like, motivation to complete it. Like, I got all of the eggs from the 10 different categories, but by the time I'd done that, there was just no motivation anymore. Like, I'd spent the whole time for like hours on end going through YouTube tutorials just to get the eggs, and then once I got them all, I was told, oh yeah, so you have to complete a bunch of other quests just to be able to get the final thing. And I'm like, by that point, I just closed down Roblox and went straight back to playing Genshin Impact, because I was not about to do all that. I was not having it. And again, to some people, it might just sound like I'm being lazy, but I don't know. It just, again, it wasn't like the same as, say, like the games, where there was actually some sort of motivation. Like with the games, for example, there was the motivation of you pick a team and you've got to help your team to win. That was like good. Even the I forgot the name of it, but the Christmas event they recently had, that wasn't too bad. Although for one of the games, I did have to get my friend to help me collect one of the frickin' whatever they were called, because my iPad was breaking at the time. And yeah, it just, the hatch, no motivation to do anything. Literally, I just wanted to get all 100 eggs just for that satisfaction, and just as something to, you know, keep me busy, to distract myself from being depressed. Apart from that, there was just no motivation. Like I said, once I completed it, and I saw that there was a heap more stuff I had to do, I was like, nah, I'm out of here. So anyways, my overall opinion, I don't think the hatch was the worst Roblox event ever. I think out of the events that I've participated in, the worst one, if I had to pick one, probably would have been the haunt. The haunt wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good either. It wasn't like, oh my god, I hate this, but it was nothing to brag about. Like, the whole thing just felt kind of rigged. The fact that you could just upload any old screenshot and people would vote for it. It was iffy in the fact that, you know, like I prefer events where you go into the games that are participating and you actually get to do stuff. Like, the only games I really enjoyed in the haunt was like Doors, Piggy, and a few other games that had Halloween updates, but again, that didn't really have anything to do with the actual event. The hatch was, you know, there was stuff to do. I mean, there was stuff to do in the haunt as well, but, you know, it wasn't anything that felt satisfying to complete. The hatch, it did feel sort of satisfying to get all 100 eggs, but again, by the time I got them, I just didn't have any more motivation, because it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun just sitting there Googling tutorials constantly just to get eggs. It was not fun. Yeah, so not the worst event ever, but nowhere near the best. Anyways, those are just my opinions. Sorry if this seemed a bit all over the place. I'm tired, but I really wanted to get my thoughts out, I guess. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!